I lost control. I wanted to kill him. What does that make me?
Invincible is a show that's defined by its brutality, present ever since that infamous scene that started it all. These guardians of the globe, the greatest heroes Earth had to offer, had no idea of the threats overshadowing their planet, nor could they do anything to save themselves from Viltrumite fury. The pilot episode of Invincible makes one thing painfully, grotesquely clear. Nobody is safe. And it was this ominous atmosphere that made the show as addicting as it was. And combining this sensation with the show's excellent animation, impeccable writing, relatable characters, and inevitable confrontation between father and son,
we need to talk.
You've got one of the best opening seasons of television I've ever seen. Marred by a 2-year gap and a suspected myriad of production issues, Season 2 drops in November 2023, only to take another 4-month break before returning for its final 4 episodes this past March. Despite losing its momentum to these poor executive decisions, Invincible remains a must-watch series for fans of the genre, filled to the brim with characters written far better here than they were in the previous season. The first 4 episodes focus largely on the aftermath of Omni-Man's blood-soaked acts of carnage that ended Season 1. Our heroes may now know the truth of this galaxy and the hopeless fight fast approaching them, but with no foreseeable way to stop the Viltrumites presenting itself, day-to-day life eerily goes on. Mark desires to return to work and disprove his doubters, to prove to the world that he's not the man his father was, all the while adjusting to college life with Amber. Having to balance the two is a rather difficult thing, and the show explores how he tries and fails to do so. Adamy's thoughtless acts of kindness backfire on her, leading her to doubt herself as she approaches a train of thought similar to her closed-minded father's, a man whose worldly troubles subtly confirm his flaws. Rudy's newfound humanity is matched by his physical fragility, sparking fears of death, and then he fears for his crush doubly so. A near-death experience for Explode makes him realize just how bad a life he's lived, and he resolves to change. Donald realizes that something in him has changed, and that something is amiss in his life. He then works to uncover the truth of his situation, the fact that he should be dead. Debbie seems at times to wish as though she were, struggling to move forward knowing her husband's true nature. And Omni-Man, well, his regrets swell in his heart as he tries to do anything at all to atone for his sins, knowing deep down that despite everything he does from here on out, he still deserves to die.
And yet,
What?
I think I miss my wife.
Like, God, that's the perfect line to end this season on. There's so much to unpack with that. The character work here is second to none, far and away above anything else premiering on television right now. Heck, it's even better than Shogun. These characters, despite their superpowers and significant importance to not just the world, but the galaxy as a whole, feel real. I care about these characters, Debbie and Rexplode especially, a great deal. I'm happy when they're happy, sad when they're sad, and I genuinely care about their desires, relationships, and struggles. The animation, of course, is just as good if not better than before. The music is great too, always contributing to and never detracting from the emotion of scenes. Some of the songs they use I've even added to Spotify. It's quality stuff. As much as I'd like to continue sitting here singing the show's praises at 2 a.m, though, I'm afraid there's one major issue that needs to be addressed. There's this trope that seems to be becoming more and more common in media nowadays. The notion that death is cheap. Writers will pull a lot of emotion from the viewer, naturally so, by killing certain characters, oftentimes in truly disturbing ways, only to bring them right back for the sake of shock value or relief. It's becoming so common that I nearly made a video on the trope itself instead of reviewing the show. Not that I make reviews much nowadays, but, you know. There's a good number of examples in which this trope is executed effectively, Gandalf the Grey and Darth Maul being perhaps the best examples. It's done well in Shogun too, though I won't spoil who comes back. And even in this show, Immortal's entire shtick is the idea that he doesn't die, he just comes back. And that's fine, I'm cool with that. Immortality is a really interesting topic to explore. My roommates have actually been watching this anime called Frieren lately that supposedly explores this topic in a lot of great ways. So long as the trope is used to further flesh out the characters and the world, or has a logical, legitimate reason to exist in a story, that's fine. Most of the time, though, it serves only to uproot the overall emotion of the story by belittling the gravity of previous scenes and cheapening the role of death, this thing that in reality is permanent. So each time this happens, it pulls you out of the story as you say again? Really? And Invincible Season 2 does this not once, not twice, not even thrice, but 4 times. You have these 2 brutal, disturbing fight sequences akin to the one that started it all, only for nobody to die, ever. Even the person whose death you have carried the only remaining weight of the scene, setting Immortal on an emotional sabbatical hoping to find himself, comes right back. I get that it makes sense given her powers, but that takes away so much emotion from the season as a whole. If I go back to that Lizard League fight now and I see all these characters die, what emotion am I going to feel? None of them actually die. They all make it out of that fight alive. It's just disappointing is all. The season ends with Mark Grayson killing the multiverse dude, Angstrom Levy, and it's supposed to be this heavy, reflective moment for Mark worthy of ending the season on. This is something he can never take back. He's killed a man. Angstrom is dead, and he's never coming back. But why would I, the viewer, believe that? I understand that, regardless of what happens next, Mark believes here and now that he's killed a man, and it's this disposition that will drive him moving forward even if Angstrom comes back. But here and now, this scene is relying on the gravity of death to convey to me, not Mark, the significance of what just happened. But why would I think this scene is heavy? If death is cheap, then so is life. All those people Omni-Man killed, save Immortal, are dead now, and there's no Infinity Gauntlet around to bring them back with a snap of my fingers. Season 1 is so great because its brutality, despite its grand scale, is grounded in this essential human truth, not constant resurrections or insane multiverses where Debbie of all people betrays humanity and sides with the Viltrumites. Everything that happened in Season 1 was genuinely tragic because you cannot undo tragedy, and because of Invincible Season 2's inability to understand this, the show will never be as good as it was. I still really enjoy Invincible, don't get me wrong, and I will most definitely watch the next season whenever it comes out. I care a lot about the characters in this show, and for them alone I'll always come back. But I can't help walking away from this season disappointed. Its quality wasn't nearly as invincible as I'd once thought. I'll give Season 2 a 6.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching.